Okay, first of all, I am going to turn on this device. And on router number 1, you can see router 1 is connected with ISP. Here we have discussed ASBR, ABR, these concepts of OSPF. Okay, now we are going to understand default route propagation in OSPF. Like you can see R1 is connected with ISP. So on R1 you will configure one default route, yes or no? Here in this topology you have to configure one default route on R1 towards ISP.
Yes.
Yes, Nirav, what you saying?
ISP.
Okay. Okay, Nirav, no problem. Okay, so on router number 1, actually we need to configure PAT also, means translation, and one default route towards ISP. And we need to propagate that default route in OSPF domain so that all other routers, means these router can get that default route. Otherwise, I need to configure default route on all router manually. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So first of all, I am going to configure NAT. So you don't need to worry about NAT configuration. Till now, we had not discussed NAT or PAT. Then I will configure one default route towards ISP. I will show you how we can propagate default route in OSPF domain. After that, this router like R2 and R3, not R3, only I think R2. R2 is ESBR. ESBR. It will, here we have already configured this redistribution. So router 2 will advertise that default route from OSPF domain to EIGRP domain. Can anyone tell me one thing, that when I will redistribute or run command default information originate on router number 1, router 1 will share default route with their neighbor, like to router 2, router 4, router 5 and to router 3 in the form of which LSA? In the form of which LSA? Anyone have idea, guys? In form of which LSA router 1 is going to share default information with their neighbor routers?
I think router LSA, sir.
No, not router LSA. Actually, whenever we will redistribute, we will perform redistribution. Actually, when we are running command, default information originate in OSPF. That means actually we are redistributing a static route. Default route is a kind of a static route, yes or no? So we are redistributing a static route in OSPF domain. Technically, we are doing what? We are redistributing. So whenever we perform redistribution on router, that router become what? ESBR. ESBR, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So router 1 will
Yes,
become
sir.
ESBR and router 1 will share external prefixes. Like this is external prefixes for OSPF domain, yes or no? Like these EIGRP
Yes, sir.
prefixes, router 2 will share these EIGRP prefixes in OSPF domain in the form of LSA5. Yes or no? So here also router 1 will share default information originate in the form of LSA5, not in the form of LSA1. Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
And as
Got
you
it.
know, LSA5 is allowed in all, means on a standard area. And let's say this area is not configured as stub area or NSSA area. Then all routers will get that default route. First of all, let me verify the configuration on router number 1. I am going to check router 1 is getting these 60 prefix, 100 prefix and 110 prefix or not. So let me check routing table of router 1. So IP route. In the routing table, we have some external prefixes, 60 prefixes. We have 100 prefixes as well, but we don't have 110 prefix. So let me check why I'm not getting 110 prefix. 100, okay, 110 prefixes. You can see here we have area 1, area 1, then area 2. So here I need to configure what? Virtual link. Yesterday we had discussed that how to extend area 0 between router 3 and router 9. I have to create one virtual link, then only these routers will exchange. Area 2 will get prefixes of area 0 of this domain, and this domain area 0 will get prefixes, these prefixes from router number 3 when we will configure virtual link. Until and unless it will not share these prefixes. Am I right? Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So how I will configure virtual link here? What command I need to run on router number 3? If you want to see router 3 so IP OSPF neighbor command, here you can say router 9 is neighbor, and so IP OSPF database. So it is receiving LSA 1 of 1.1.1, 2.2.2, 3.3.3, 4.4.4, and 5.5.5. Where is LSA 1 of 9.9.9? It should receive LSA 1 of 9.9.9 also, na? This is router LSA, yes. 1.1 all are there, but 9.9 is not there. Here should be LSA 1 of router 9 also. Let me check the configuration of router 9. Enable, so IP OSPF neighbor. So neighbor is 3.3.3, okay, and this one 110.1.5.1. Let me change the router ID of this router. Router level config T, router OSPF 1. I think I'm running OSPF 1. Do so IP protocol ASPF protocol, process ID is 1, okay. Router OSPF 1 and router ID 11.11.11.11. Before it I have to clear IP OSPF process. Say yes, and now I am going to say router ID this one. So IP OSPF database, inside the database of router 9 we are able to see how many router LSAs are there. LSA of 9.9.9 and LSA 1 of
11.
router 11, right? And then these are external LSA, router 2, okay, done. So router 3 should receive LSA 1 of router 9 or not. So IP OSPF interface brief, you can see this interface 0/0 is member of area 0 and this interface is member of area 1. But why we don't have LSA 1 of router 9? So IP OSPF database router LSA and 9.9.9.9. Okay, so LSA is there. LSA 1 of 9.9.9 is there. So IP OSPF database. Here we are not able to see. Okay, this is LSA 1 of area 0. This is LSA 1 of area 1. So here you are able to see 9.
Yeah, it is this.
This is of area 1. So here also it is not showing router LSA. Which LSA it is? Here you can see 9.9.9 and 3.3.3. Done? Yes or no? So this router have LSA 1 of router 9, but this router is not receiving any prefixes which is running on router number 11 because we don't have virtual link here, because we don't have ABR router is here, right? So I need to create one virtual link between router 3 and router number 9. So how I will do it? What command I will run on R3? Tell me guys, we had already discussed virtual link concept. Router OSPF 1
OSPF.
area 1 virtual link 9.9.9.9. This is the command. And then on router number 9, what command you will run? Will virtual link work here? Router OSPF 1, if I will run command like this, tell me, virtual link. Will virtual neighborship will come up on virtual link or not, guys? After running this command on both router, tell me. Here you can see OSPF neighborship. Now if you will check, so IP OSPF neighbor, we have one more neighbor, that is 9.9.9. And now I am going to check, so IP route. So this router should receive 110 prefixes. And it is receiving or not? Yes, it is receiving now. from inter-area prefixes. Done. These are inter-area prefixes. Now on router number 1, again I am going to verify the routing table. And this time you can see I have these prefixes also. Done. So this is basic configuration of this topology. Basic configuration of this topology from router number 1. If you want to check connectivity, you can check connectivity as well. Let's say from router number 1, I'm going to ping 60.1.1.1 and source is 10.1.1.1. So ping should work. If ping is not working, then how you will troubleshoot it? Because here you have route on router number 1. So IP route 60.1.1.0. This network is available in the table, but still I am not able to ping. Maybe EIGRP domain is not receiving OSPF prefixes. So let me check on router number 6, because router 6 should also receive this prefix 10 prefix, which is running on router number 1 from EIGRP. Enable, and so IP route. I am going to check external prefixes. No, this router is not receiving any external prefixes. Yes, that means we don't have reverse path. So on router number 2, I am going to perform redistribution. I am going to redistribute OSPF prefixes in EIGRP. Okay, config T and router EIGRP AS number 100 and say redistribute OSPF process 1 and then metric. For metric, we need to define k values. So bandwidth, load, MTU, and reliability. Everything I have defined. Now let me check the routing table of router 6 again. It is receiving external prefix. Yes, now you can see it is receiving external prefixes. These are 10 prefix 10.1.1.0 to 10.1.5.0. After that you have you should have which prefix? 100 prefix, right? 100 and 110 also. So let me check. Here we have 100 also and 110 also. Done. Now from router number 1, again I am going to check connectivity, and this time I think ping should work. Ping 60.1.1.1 and source is 10.1.1.1. See, ping is working. Let me ping EIGRP 200 prefixes like ping 100.1.1.1 and again source is 10.1.1.1. See, I am able to ping EIGRP 200 also, and let me ping OSPF area 2 ping 100 10.1.1.1. See, I am able to ping, right? So in my internal network there is connectivity, we don't have any problem, right? Now these users should be able to access internet. These users should be able to access internet. For that I am going to configure edge technology on router number 1 like PAT and default route. So on router number 1, first of all I am going to check IP interface brief exclude unassigned. I'm going to check IP on WAN interface, that is F4/0. On F4/0 you can see IP is 100.1.1.1. Let me ping the ISP public IP address 100.1.1.2. So I think yes, IP is already configured on ISP routers. You can see I am able to ping ISP public IP address. Let me ping 8.8.8 ping 8.8.8.8. This ping will not work because I think default route is not available here. So on router number 1 I am going to add one default route. Okay, yes Rohit, is it clear till here? Any confusion to anybody guys in this topology?
No, sir.
No? Done. Now on router number 1, see, success rate is 0%. This router have sent 5 packets and 5 packets is dropped. Okay, config T and IP route 0.0.0 0.0.0, and then we can say exit interface F4/0 and next hop IP address is 100.1.1.1.1. So I have, what is wrong here? Invalid next hop 1.1.2. Done. Now I can ping 8.8.8. Ping 8.8.8.8. Yes, ping is working, but from my LAN interface, I cannot ping. Means my LAN user cannot ping. Source is 10.1.1.1. This ping will not work. Why? Because when I am directly writing ping command, ping 8.8.8.8. This time source IP address will be what? What will be the source IP address inside ICMP packet, guys? 100.1.1.1 and destination 8.8.8.8. This router will check their routing table. In their routing table, one default route is available towards ISP, so it will forward towards ISP. Yes, and ISP will generate reply. In reply, source will be 8.8.8 and destination is 100.1.1.1 is 100.1.1.1. So it will, ISP will check their routing table and this public IP address will be there inside their routing table. Yes or no? It will generate reply message, will forward to router 1. But when I will ping from source 10.1.1.1, this time source IP address will be 10.1.1.1 and destination will be 8.8.8.8. Again, router will check their routing table. In their routing table, one default route is available towards ISP. It will forward traffic towards ISP. But this time when ISP will generate reply, you can see it will send reply message to this IP address. So route is not available for this IP address inside the routing table of ISP router. Yes or no? By the way, you know, private, this is private IP address. Private IP address will be not allowed over here. Okay, so with private source you cannot forward traffic to ISP router. Here private packets are not allowed, right? Only this IP address which is running on this interface are allowed to send traffic on this link. Otherwise, through access list, all other rest traffics are denied. So here we need to configure now NAT, so that when we will discuss NAT, you will understand how NATs work. For now, just I am going to configure NAT, and after configuring NAT, whenever source will be the private, it will translate into this public IP address which is running on F/0. And when reply will come, again it will retranslate in the actual information, okay, with actual source IP address and destination IP address. So let me configure NAT. Let me enable NAT on router number 1. So to configure NAT, just I am going to create one access control list. Here I can say access control list and then number 10 and permit any. I have defined all source. After that, IP NAT inside source, match source from list number 10 and convert it into F/0, and let me use one keyword overload for PAT. That's it. Now I need to define interface, inside interface and outside interface only. So interface range F0/0, F2/0, F3/0, F0/0, F1/0 also, F1/0, and then loop back 1 to 5. So I am going to say these interfaces are inside interface, IP NAT inside, and interface F4/0, this interface is IP NAT outside. Done. Now let me try to ping from the LAN interface. Ping 8.8.8 and source 10.1.1.1. Now you can see ping is working. Done. Means NAT is working fine. But okay, these LAN users are able to access internet, but these LAN users are not able to access internet. Like EIGRP, you know, users who is sitting in EIGRP 100 domain or 200 domain or OSPF area 2, or let's say we have some user on router number 4, 5, 7, 3, right? So those user cannot access internet because these routers don't have default route. Like on any router, let's say on router number 2, if you will check routing table, so IP route, so you can see here gateway of last resort is not set, means we don't have any default route. Done. So now just I need to run one command in to redistribute default route in OSPF domain on router number 1, that is router OSPF 1, and default information originate. That's it. Once I will hit enter and you will run command show IP protocol. So IP protocol. So now you can see this router is your ESBR router. This router is your ESBR. This router will start acting as ESBR and it will advertise default route in the form of LSA 5. In the form of LSA 5. If you will check so IP OSPF database, here I am going to check LSA 5, external LSA. So you can see in external LSA we have one, external LSA whose advertising router ID is 1.1.1 and link ID is 0.0.0. So in external LSA, advertising router ID is the router ID of router and link ID is the prefix information. Link ID is the prefix information. So this time router is sending this prefix. Okay, and now on any other router you will check, if you will verify, let's say from router number 2, I am going to check now routing table. So IP route. So this time you can see gateway of last digit is 12.1.1.1. 12.1.1.1 and we have one default route 0.0.0. Next hop IP address is 12.1.1. This is metric and this is AD value. Done, guys. Now from router number 6, let me ping from router number 6 LAN user, let's say ping 8.8.8.8 and source is 60.1.1.1. 60.1.1.1. Will it work? How many of you are saying it will work? This ping will work.
Yes, sir, it will work.
Yes, sir, it will work.
It should work because guys always try to speak as much as possible. See, ping is working because it have one default route from EIGRP neighbor. So IP route. Who have advertised this default route? EIGRP. Reachable via this, right? Like this, all right, routers or user can access internet now. Like router number 10 can also ping 8.8.8 when source is 100.1.1.1. See, here ping is not working. Why ping is not working here? So let me check. So IP EIGRP neighbor and so
check
IP
whether it is
route.
receiving the default route or not.
Yes, I am going to check default route. So here you can see one default route is there. One default route is here.
Sir, I think redistribution we have done in one way, sir, here.
Yes, sorry. Can you speak again?
Redistribution is one way, sir, here. I think.
No. Redistribution is fine. We don't have many problem in redistribution. From router number 7, let me check. From router number 7 or before troubleshooting it, from router number, okay, let me take you to router 7 directly. No problem. On router number 7, so IP OSPF database. I am going to check database of this router and external LSA. Inside the external LSA, there should be one, this entry. So yes, this entry is here. Okay, let me do one thing. Again, I am going to ping 8.8.8 source 100.1.1.1. So this should work. Ping is not working. Enable so IP. Let me do one thing. From router number 8, I'm going to ping 8.8.8, let's say. So from router number 8 also I am able to ping, but I am not able to ping from router number 10. Route is available, everything is available. Then what is the problem? Ping should work here. Why it's not working? Okay, from router number 10, I am going to ping loopback IP address of router 1 ons. Ping. Let me ping 8.8.8 with exit interface source. So from this interface, it's working. Ping is working. From F0/0, ping is working. So IP interface brief exclude unassigned. We had configured any filtering? No, we had not configured any filtering. From the loopback interface, it is router 10 is not pinging. Source 100.1.1.2.1, let's say. From this interface also it's working. Then what is so special from this interface? This can be problem of software only. Wait, IP address is correct. See, ping is not working from loopback 1 interface of router 10, but from loopback 2, this LAN user is able to ping. So okay, don't think much about this, guys. Definitely this is a problem of software. Otherwise it should ping. You all know. Yes or no? It should work or not? Ping should work or not from here? Loopback 1.
Yes, sir. It's work.
Yes,
It
it
should
should work,
work.
but it's not working. So
It
this
should
is
work.
problem of software. Okay, from router number 11 also, let me try ping 8.8.8.8. So yes, I am able to ping and ping 8.8.8 and source 110.1.1.1. See, I am able to ping, right? So ping is working fine. I have, configure redistribution. I have redistributed default route in OSPF successfully. Everything is working fine. And it is clear that router 1 will see our default route in the form of LSA 5.
Sir, I think. Hello.
Yes.
Sir, 100.1.1 we have configured between ISP and router 1, sir. And we are trying to.
Oh, here also we are
ping
running
from here.
100.1.1.1. Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
So problem is occurring over here when I am pinging from the loopback 1 interface of router 10. Here I should use different network. Yes. Okay. Good. Thank you. So I will change network over here. Let's say here I am going to set 200. Okay, and next time I will change it. Now, while running default information originate on router number 1, I have some option. Like if you will see, let's say on router number 7, so IP route OSPF. For default route, what is metric? What is metric?
1, sir.
1. Right, for the default route. And if you will open show IP OSPF database external and 1.1.1.1, not 1.1.1, sorry, 0.0.0. Here also we are able to see metric is 1 for default route. Right?
Sir, is there any AD value of default route, sir?
Yes, whenever we will redistribute any prefixes in OSPF, there will be AD value. Like on router number 7.
In case of default route.
Yes, in case of default route also.
What if there is it is possible to configure a default route and a static route on one router?
Static routing, like here we cannot run this command, or I can say, see, router on router number 1, I can remove this command default information originate. A router OSPF 1 and say no default information originate. It will stop generating on one default route in OSPF domain, and I am going to say redistribute static. So this command will also redistribute it. Redistribute default route into OSPF domain. Then also metric will be 110. Yes, Rohit, what you are saying? Actually, I am not getting your point.
No, sir. It's a different question. I will ask you at the end of the class. Maybe,
now also you can ask. No problem. I can add.
I'm asking like is like we know that the static has a AD value of 1, directly
Okay.
connected AD value 0, OSPF
Yes.
fsum. So I am asking there, is there any AD value for default route also? Like we have a
Default
static.
route is a kind of a static route.
Okay, it's a kind of a static route.
Yes, there are two types of static route: default route and normal static routing, which we had discussed.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay. So
So
default route is
on
one
a
kind of.
single router, whether we can configure the static or a default.
Yes. So
Uh,
that's why I am running command redistribute static.
okay, sir.
If I will run command redistribute static, then also it will redistribute default route in OSPF domain. OSPF 1 and redistribute static and say subnets.
So
And
we can't apply both, only one
yes,
at a
we can.
time.
Yes, only one at a time.
Okay, okay, okay.
It cannot generate two number of default route on any router on router number 3. So IP route OSPF. So IP route gateway of last resort is not set. Why it's not redistributing? Okay, command is fine here. Static, and then we can set metric type, otherwise it will be for default. No route map, just I need to use subnets keyword. And so IP route, here we have default route. Yes, so it will advertise in OSPF domain, and on router number 3 or any other router I am going to check the routing table, but we are not able to see the default route here. I think this command will not work for default route. Router OSPF 1 and no redistribute static subnets, redistribute let me use keyword connected over here. Okay, we can do one thing, we can check. I have configured a static route by using both exit interface and next hop IP address. So IP route or so IP, yes, route. Inside the routing table of this router, you can see this network is reachable via this and on this interface. Let me run this command connected router OSPF1 and redistribute connected, and then subnets. Clear IP OSPF process ons. So IP route OSPF. I will see it later, not now, because now I need to discuss the topics. Why this command should also work, but it's not working here. So IP route, maybe because of on simulation software this command is not supported. That can be possibility. On router number 2 I have run so IP route command. Here you can see I am not getting default route. Okay, so maybe this I will check it on real devices ons, right? Definitely this command will work. I'm going to remove it now. Now I'm going to use same command, default information originate, and now if you will put question mark, you can see you have some option. Like if you are running this command only, default information originate, guys, router will generate default route if one default route is available inside the routing table. If default route is, if see I am running this command and on any other router on router number 3, you can verify that this router will receive one default route. Yes. Okay, but what if I will remove that default route, say no IP route and 0.0.0 0.0.0 and the exit interface is f4/0, next hop is 100.1.1.2. okay, now on router number 1 we have run the command default information originate, but default route is not available. On any other router, like on router number 3, now you can see the routing table. Default route is not available. Yes or no? So if you are running this command, it is very important that default route should be available inside the routing table of router. But if default route is not available, okay, and then also if you want to generate one default route in the OSPF domain, you can run command router OSPF1 and default information originate, and then you can add keyword always. It doesn't matter now default route is available or not on router number 1. Router will generate one default route. Like let's say router 4 is advertising 5000 prefixes to router number 7, and router 7, I want to filter these 5000 prefixes from router number 5. So instead of advertising these 5000 prefixes, I can tell to router 4 to advertise one default route, but default route is not available on router number 4. Router 4 have all individual prefixes. Let's say router 7 have received default route from router number 4, and now router 7 want to reach in this network 10.1.1.0. so router 7 will check the routing table, it will forward traffic to router 4, and router 4 will have the individual prefixes in their routing table. Getting my point? So on a particular router also, if you want to generate a default route in OSPF, you can run this command, default information originate always. Getting my point?
So only we have to run this command on a router 1 or each and every router?
On router 1 only. See, I have run it on router number 1, and on any other router, let's say on router number 3, again you can check the routing table. See, default route is available.
What if I manually configure the default route in each and every router? Then it's
that
also
will be
reachable?
also fine. That will be also fine. Yes. You don't need to reduce, but let's say you have 100 number of routers in your organizations. So on 100 routers, you will run default route manually. It is better to redistribute or advertise one default route in OSPF domain from edge router.
So first it will, for example, I'm typing 8.8.8. So first it will look in there like in their routing table.
Yes, whenever you will type router need to forward traffic, it will check the destination and then it is going to look up their routing table. This is the behavior of router.
And when it will not able to match any other routes, like then it will send
Then it will check routing default route.
Default route.
If default route is also not available, then it will drop the traffic.
So first preference is given to the other routes which is present in the router.
Yes, longest prefix match.
Longest prefix match.
It will check the prefix where I am getting longest match. Let's say this router have two number of prefixes. One is 10.1.1.0/24. This network is reachable via router number 1, and this router have one more network 10.1.0.0/24 via router number 6. Now someone is trying to send traffic to 10.1.1.1. Tell me, router 2 will forward traffic to which router? Router 6 or router 1?
Both have the prefix 24.
Oh no, here we have prefix 16/16.
It will send towards the 24.
है ना?
Prefix 24. R1.
R1, because here we have prefix length 24. Okay, so this is behavior of router. Okay, clear, Rohit?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now so you can see router 3 is receiving one default route and matrix is 1. Okay, now on router number 1, but now LAN users cannot ping internet, cannot access the resources on internet, ping 8.8.8.8. It will not work because default route, see, router 1 is advertising default route to all other routers. So all other router will forward traffic to router number 1 whenever match will not found in the routing table. But router 1 don't have any exit interface for default route, yes or no? So router 1 will drop the traffic. So I am going to remove this entry, router OSPF 1, and say no to this command. And I am going to say default information originate only. So by using this command, it will advertise default route only if default route is available inside the routing table. So IP route 0.0.0.0.0.0 f/0 and next hop 100.1.1.2. Done. Again, you can
Sir,
see on any other router. Yes.
sir, what if I don't know the ISP, like a ISP port number and the IP address?
ISP public IP address.
Yes,
You can
ISP.
configure default route by using exit interface also, but generally you will have information about, sometime you need to troubleshoot. Let's say user from EIGRP 200 domain is complaining that they are not able to access internet, right? So you are network admin, how you will troubleshoot that problem? Is inside your network or problem is on ISP end? If you are able to ping from router number 10 to this, router number 1, that means there is connectivity. If you are able to ping ISP public IP address, that means this connectivity is also working fine. That definitely ISP is maybe down. Now this is concern of ISP, not your ISP public IP address should be reachable from your edge device. So that's why you will have public IP address.
Sir, I'm asking, I want to give the default route, but
Okay.
I just want to give the default route, but I don't know the port number of the ISP and the IP address of the ISP. So
Here port number is not required, na?
can I give my, okay, I don't know the like IP address of the ISP. Can I give my own like IP
Exit
address?
interface. No, no,
Exactly.
no. That's it. That's it. This command.
Okay.
Okay. But I am going to remove this command. You already know what is the problem with this command. What problem we have with this command, guys? It will consider default route is directly connected. So it have to check. Okay. No, here we will not have problem. But you know why we are not running this command? Because here CPU utilization is.
Because I seen somewhere that the even if you don't know the like ISP port number, IP address, then you can give your own exit interface. Then
Yes,
even though
yes, you
it
can
will work.
configure
Uh,
your own exit interface as well. We don't have problem. Problem is whenever we are configuring a static route by using exit interface, that time we have one problem, that is proxy ARP, as we discussed while discussing static routing. So that's why it's my habit to configure both exit interface as well as next hop IP address. But if you don't have next hop IP address, or if you don't wish to configure next hop IP address, you can avoid it. You can configure with exit interface only. Okay. Hmm. Okay, Rohit.
yes, sir.
So now you can see the routers are receiving default route. Okay. Now here router OSPF 1. We have some more option while running command default information originate. Let me discuss about that. Uh, Router OSPF 1 default information originate, and then I am not going to use this command always. We already discussed about this. Now we can set what metric here. If you want to set a specific metric, so you can set here by adding this keyword metric. Now you are able to see all routers have installed default route with what AD value? 1. Here I am going to set it 10. Okay. And then if you want to change metric type, okay, first of all let me verify this. Now on router number 3 I am going to show you the routing table. So IP route, you can see metric is what? 10.
10.
Now all OSPF router will receive these prefixes with metric 10. R1 is advertising with metric 10. Okay. And metric type, as you know, we have two types of metric while redistribution, so we can configure metric type as well here. Like for now, if you will check R7 routing table, so R7 on router number 7 also metric will be what? 10, because 10 is the SID metric router. So IP route OSPF. Matrix inside the default route is 10 because this 10 is seed matrix. Here we have changed the seed matrix. Getting my point? So seed matrix is matrix from ESBR to destination. Matrix from ESBR to destination. Like guys, if when router 2 will advertise the prefixes, these prefixes in OSPF domain in the form of LSA 5, it will advertise with one seed matrix that is 20 by default. Am I right? And router 1, router 4 will learn it via router number 1. These all routers will install these external prefixes in their routing table with matrix 20. If we are using matrix type what? 2. Because matrix type 2 is matrix when we are redistributing external prefixes in OSPF with matrix type 2, then OSPF will consider matrix from ESBR to destination only. Whatever matrix, whatever prefixes ESBR router is advertising with matrix will be same on all other router. But here if I will change matrix type 1, if I will set matrix type 1 over here, then matrix on router 1 will be become what? 20 plus the matrix of this interface, let's say 1, so 21. On router number 4, matrix will become 22. Like this it will work. While in redistribution in LSA 5 we had discussed this also. We have two types of external matrix, type 1 and type 2. By default, whenever we are performing redistribution, matrix type is type 2, and you can see any external prefixes. Let's say on router number 1 also, on router number 1 or on router number 3, on any router, if you will see the IP route OSPF external prefixes. So here you can see matrix is 20, 460 prefixes. On router number 1 also matrix will be same 20. Why? Because by default matrix type is IP OSPF database. How I will find this database? External and then 60.1.1.0. Matrix type is type 2. It is by default. Larger than any link OSPF path. Okay. Done. Okay, so now router 7, router 4, router 5, router 2, router 3, router 9 and router 11. In fact, router 11 also, on router number 11, if you will check default route, router 11 will also install the default route with what matrix? Matrix 10. Because these routers are getting these prefixes in the form of LSA 5, and in the LSA 5 matrix type is type 2. So it is not going to use the cost between router 11 and the ESBR. Okay, here we have 60 prefixes, but if I will change the matrix type here, router 11 will learn these prefixes, right, with matrix which is advertising in the LSA and total matrix of this path. Yes or no? Like on router number 11, you can see now matrix is 460 prefixes. Where is 60 prefixes? Here. For 60 prefixes, matrix is what? 20. But if I will change the matrix type on router number 2, while redistribution here on router number 2, I am going to change matrix type, router OSPF 1, and say first of all let me check the configuration. Do so run section OSPF. So I am going to remove this command, redistribute EIGRP 100 and subnet. Say no to this. And I am going to add again redistribute EIGRP ES number 100 subnets and matrix type. I am going to say matrix type not 2 1. Now if you will check routing table of router 11, the matrix will be different. Right? Now router is going to use total cost from source to destination, from router 11 to ESBR and the matrix which is coming in LSA. So you can see 60 prefix where we have, here it is still 20. Just wait for some time. Now let me check. 60 prefix. Now you can see cost is 24. Why cost is 24? You can check it in the database. So IP OSPF database external and 60.1.1.1, 60.1.1.0. You can see what metric is coming in link state in LSA 20, and so IP OSPF border router, and what is the cost to reach 2.2.2 ASBR, because who is advertising this prefix 2.2.2? So cost to reach 2.2.2 is 4, and cost which is coming in LSA is 20. So total cost will be what? 24. So that's why you are able to see. So IP route OSPF. So we have cost 64 for all 60 prefixes. Done. So in the same way, while redistributing or originating a default route in OSPF, we can set metric type. On router number 1, this is command to change the seed metric. This is how you can change seed metric, and then we can change metric type. So let's say metric type what? 1. And now on any router, let's say on router number 3, if you will check routing table, so IP route OSPF. So here also you can see it have installed default route with symbol what? E2. E2 means type 2. And now I am going to configure type 1. So it will install it with symbol E1 now. C. And now cost is C 11. Now cost is not 10. Now cost is 11. Okay. On router number 8, now cost will be different. Maybe 9. So IP OSPF. So IP route OSPF 13. Is it clear? Default information originate. Now on router number 1, metric type I have set 1, and then again you can see you can use albase command here also, that you should originate default route albase. Here also you can add this keyword, and now we don't have any more option here in default information originate. This is how we originate default route in OSPF domain. Is it clear to all people? Fam, Sunita, Mohan, Rohit,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sunita.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Let's move to now route filtering. Okay. Guys, how we will actually, let me give you one overview of this concept, how you will use this concept in real time, or maybe now we are not using, earlier how we were using this concept in real time. Let's say I have 2 number of ISP one ISP is here, and we have one ISP over here as well. Let's say router 2 is also connected with one ISP.
नहीं तो बोले last है ये.
Getting on this router also I have one loopback 8.8.8.8. Here let's say network is 201.1.1.0/24. So both router 1 and router 2, both router will advertise what? Default route in OSPF domain. Am I right? Both router will advertise default route in OSPF domain. And let's say you want that whenever anyone in your network want to reach internet, they should reach via this ISP. Let's say this is my primary ISP and this is my backup ISP. If my primary ISP is not available, then only user should forward traffic towards ISP2. So here, while redistributing default route or while generating default route in OSPF on router number 1, I will use metric type what? Metric
Can
type
we give the different value
1.
of metric?
Yes, metric. Yes, that is also one option. But if you are not allowed to suppose change the metric value, because if you are manipulating the metric, you are changing the metric, right, on every router, you know, in real time. Blindly you cannot run command like metric 10. Metric is very important components of routing, so you are, you know, in very few situations you are allowed to change the metric value. So you have to understand, you know, all possibility path. Through metric also we can achieve, but when we are using metric type feature in this type of scenario, here I will redistribute, or I will, you know, generate default route with metric type 1, and here I will generate default route with metric type 2. Okay, so these router will get default route from both router, from 2 router and from router 2 also, and from router number 1 also. But from router number 1 metric type will be 1, and from router 2 metric type will be 2. So metric type means E1 is more preferable than E2, as you already know. Okay.
Sir, please mute the Sunita.
Oh yes. Okay guys, now let's begin the route filtering. First of all, if I will talk about the filtering, we have distance feature, right? Nida have sent me one video. Through that video I got this point. It is also important. Okay, let me make you understand. But you know, when you will understand the entire route filtering, you will not use this feature. You will get, you will you know, understand it later, that why we are not using it, why we will not use it. But first understand how I can use it. Okay, distance feature. Distance, if I will set distance 255 to any route, to any prefixes, if you will set distance value, what, AD value 255, router will not install that prefix in their routing table. Router not install their that route in their routing table. Getting my point? In EIGRP also we have this feature, in RIP also we have this feature, and in OSPF also we have this feature. This is, you know, not concept of routing protocol, this is concept of, this is function of router, that whenever router will have a route or prefix with AD value 255, it is not going to install that route in their routing table, because router consider route with AD value 255 is unreachable. Getting my point? So like say on router number 6, router 6, where is router 6? Here I have router 6. If you will check routing table of router 6, so IP route, you can see there are lots of prefixes. There are lots of prefixes. Some external prefixes are there, some are connected, some are EIGRP. No, we don't have EIGRP prefixes. There are lots of external prefixes. All are OSPF prefixes, right? On router number 10 also, and on any other router, like on router number 4. Let me show you on router number 4, where it is. Like, okay, let's say on router number 3. On router number 3, so IP OSPF database. This is database of this router, and this is routing table of this router. So IP route. Okay, in the routing table there are lots of prefixes. In database also there are lots of LSs. On router number 3, I want to filter all prefixes. So for all prefixes I can set distance value, what, 255. It will not filter OSPF database. I can run command, what, router OSPF 1, and I can say distance. Wait. On router number 3, first of all, let me check one thing. So IP route, not OSPF. Hello. Okay. Yeah, in morning, call me in morning, na. Call me sir in morning. Mhm. So tell to Tushar na. You should tell to Tushar, brother. Okay, bye. I'm calling you after half an hour. See, on router number 3, router OSPF 1, and I'm going to say distance 255. Distance 255. Do so IP route. In the routing table, you can see there are only directly connected prefixes only. Yes or no? Means I have filtered all prefixes. Why? Because I have set distance 255 for all OSPF prefixes. I have set distance 255 for all OSPF prefix. So here we are not able to see any prefix in their routing table. Done. And if you will check database, so IP OSPF database. So IP OSPF database. So database is still here. We are filtering what? Actually route. We are filtering prefixes with the help of distance command. Okay. Again, I am going to say no to this command. Distance 255, say no. Again, it will install all path in their routing table. So IP route all prefixes in their routing table. Yes. Okay, now let me tell you one thing here on router number 3. On router number 3, you can see in the routing table, so IP route. In the routing table, we have some external, prefixes from OSPF intradomain. We have some prefixes from OSPF interdomain. We have some prefixes, we have some external prefixes, yes or no, and we have some directly connected prefixes here. Means multiple types of OSPF prefixes we have on router number 3, yes or no. So let's say I want to filter a specific type of route on router number 3, so I can use again distance command with router OSPF process 1 and distance and then 255, and after that I can define. Here I am not able to run one command. I think here is one more command. I am getting directly option of defining source IP address. This command is not supported. Distance. Okay, I think after distance I will run this command. Yes, distance and then OSPF, and after that if you will put question mark, you can see you have option to filter types of route. Like if you want to filter external prefixes, you can filter external. For external prefixes, you can set distance what? 255. So if I will run this command will filter all external prefixes. Do so IP route. Now you can see I am not able to see any external prefixes over here. We have intra-area prefixes, we have inter-area prefixes, right? Directly connected prefixes, but we don't have any external prefixes here. Okay. So this is also one option we have. If I want to filter only external routes, we can run distance OSPF external, and after that 255. I want to filter, let's say, intra-area prefixes or inter-area prefixes. What I can use here, I can use this keyword inter-area 255. For inter-area also I am going to set what? Distance value 255. Or directly you can run this command. Here also you can run this command inter area, or you can use both external as well as inter area 255 and then hit enter. I have filter inter area prefix and external prefix. Do so IP route. Now you can see this router is have installed only inter area prefixes in their routing table. All inter area prefixes has been filtered. Am I right? And now if you want to filter, let's say intra area prefixes as well, so you can say intra area 255 here. Now it will filter all prefixes. Now you can see only directly connected networks are there. Okay, this is first way to filter route in OSPF. Now I am going to remove this command from here. And guys, if I am filtering the prefixes on router number 3, still router number 7 will receive all prefixes because database is still there on router number 3. Where is router 3? See, on router number 3 here. Here I am filtering the prefixes. Actually I am filtering the route. So inside the database still LSAs are available. So if you will check routing table of this router, still these routes are available. Let me show you on router number 9. Router number 9 is still receiving these prefixes. Still have installed these prefixes in their routing table. On router number 9, I'm going to run show IP route command. So IP route, you can see all OSPF prefixes is there. External, inter area, intra area, all prefixes are there. Okay, so this command will filter route on a particular router, not in the domain. Fine. Fine guys. In the same way, on router number 6, if you want to filter, like on router number 6, I am using which protocol? EIGRP. So in EIGRP also we can configure the distance 255. On router number 6, what I am going to do, router EIGRP ES number 100 and then distance 255. I have set distance 255 and then it's asking for source EIGRP 255 distance for external route do so IP route. I am on router number 6. On router number 6 I am running EIGRPS number 10. Okay, so IP route OSPF. These are directly connected network. You can see all prefixes has been filtered on router number 6. So this is command, right, to filter route with the help of distance in EIGRP. This should be distance for internal route 255 and this should be distance for external route 255. Okay, is it clear? In EIGRP also I can run this command, distance command, and now I have set what distance 255. So when you want to filter a particular or a multiple or all prefixes with the help of distance, you can use it and you can filter the route. Why I have set distance 255? Because I already told you this is the behavior of router. Router does not install route with AD value 255 in their routing table. Router consider route with AD value 255 is invalid or unreachable. Fine. Fine guys. I can configure distance value other than 255 also. Then first of all let me remove this command from here. Say no. And again show IP route. You can see this router is soon it will install all prefixes, because EIGRP convergence is slow, as you already know, so it will take some time. Now you can see. Okay, so it is receiving now all prefixes. Is it clear? Okay, now guys, in this topology, in same topology, router number 7, let me talk in this topology here, in this part only. Okay, so router 1 have some prefixes, these prefixes. Router will advertise it with router 4, and to router 5 both will advertise with router 7. So router will have how many path for this network? Router 7 will have how many path for this network? Router 7,
2.
yes, definitely 2, because it will calculate same AD value and same metric on both link. So IP route 10.1.1.1. So we have 2 path. One is, oh, I have run it on router number 7. Yes, it is fine. We have 2 path. One is via 57.1.1.5, means router 5, and one is via which router? It is advertising 5.5.5 and 4.4.4, 47.1.1.4. So both router are advertising this network. Okay, so in routing table we are able to see 2 path. So router 7 is actually performing load balancing. Router 7 is performing what? Load balancing,
Yes, sir.
right? And when router 7 will receive these prefixes in the form of LSA from router number 5, can anyone tell me, will router 7 send it to router 4? Will router 7 share these LSA to router 4? Here let's say network type is point to point. Don't consider network type between router as broadcast. Network type between router is point to point. Yeah, maybe it will, definitely router 7 will send, but it will send with same sequence number. So router 4 will not accept it. Now in this scenario, let's say I don't want to receive these prefixes from router number 4. I don't want to receive these prefixes from router number 4. Means I don't want to perform load balancing on router number 7 for these prefixes. Just I want to use only this path. So what I can do? I can set AD value 255 via this path. So I can define source as well. I can define source as well. Or before it, if you want to set any other AD value, like let's say on router number 7, not router number 7, let's say router number 8. On router number 8, router 8 is connected with EIGRP and OSPF domain. Okay, so IP route, so there are lots of prefixes of EIGRP also and OSPF also. Let's say in OSPF domain, router 7 is getting one prefix, same prefix X prefix, and in EIGRP domain also it is getting same prefix X prefix. Here AD value will be what by default? 90, and here AD value will be what? Here AD value will be what? 2. AD value of OSPF 110. So which AD value is more preferable? Router will install X network via which router? Via router 10 or via router 7? Via router number? Via router number 10. Because it is calculating list. But if you want to install X network information inside the routing table of router 1 via OSPF, so what you can do here, you can change AD value. For EIGRP prefixes, what I can tell here, set AD value, let's say 120. Getting my point or not getting, guys? See, I am going to do one thing. On router number 7, I am going to create one loopback. On router number 7, I am going to create one loopback. interface loopback 1, and let's say IP address is 77.77.77.77. Let's say 255.255.255.0. I'm going to run IP OSPF1 area 10. I'm going to enable OSPF on this interface. So router 8 will receive this network information and it will install in the routing table. On router number 8, you can see. So IP route 77.77.77.77. So route is available, and next hop IP address is 78.1.1.7, means router 7. Again, I am going to create same loopback on router number 10 also. Where router 10? Okay, let me access. Enable config t interface loopback 50. IP address is 77.77.77.77 255.255.255.255, let's say, and router EIGRP S number 200 and network 77.77.77.77 wildcard mask 0.0.0. Done. Now it will change next hop IP address. Router 8 will change next hop IP address. Now next hop IP address will be the IP address of router 10 F0/0. So IP route this. Next hop is next hop IP address 4. Okay, I have checked it for 70.1.1.0. So IP route. Next hop non via EIGRP 200, and next hop IP address is, what is the IP address of this interface? 80.1.1.10. 80.1.1.10, and soon you can ping also 77.77.77.77. Ping is also working fine. So IP route in routing table, if you want to see like this, so where is 77 prefix? It is not performing load balancing. We have only one path. If anyone have confusion with that output, it have installed via EIGRP. Now on router number 8, I am going to filter. I am going to set actually AD value for all EIGRP prefixes to 120. Not router 8, router number 10, 120. Router EIGRP 200, and say distance. After that EIGRP for internal and for external. Not 255, sorry. Oh, sorry. I need to run this command on router 8. Router EIGRP ES number 200. EIGRP ES number 200 and distance 255. Distance for EIGRP 120 and 120. Now, so IP route 77.77.77.77. You can see next hop IP address is still okay. Now next hop IP address is the IP address of which router? Router 7. It have installed via OSPF. Why? Because now it is receiving in EIGRP, receiving same prefixes in EIGRP with AD value 120, and it is receiving via OSPF with AD value 110. If I will down this interface F0/0 will goes down. Again, automatically it will install alternate path. So IP route this one. Now you can see next hop IP, and metric is FD. Okay, distance 120. So this is not default distance value of EIGRP, yes or no? So like this you can manipulate with distance in EIGRP also, in OSPF also, and like same, right? Like same command you can run in RIP routing protocol also, but these commands will work only on router. And we have some more concept as well. Like here I am going to remove this command now. Interface F0/0 say no set, and router EIGRP 200, and I am going to remove distance command also from here. Distance say no. Done. Now this time I am going to discuss that scenario that router 7 should install these prefixes via router number 5 only. By default it is receiving from both neighbor with same metric and same ID value, but I want to install all prefixes via router number 5, and I want to perform this path manipulation with the help of distance concept. So you are allowed to change distance value. So on router number 7, this time you will run command like router OSPF 1 and then distance, after that OSPF, then internal, external, which type of prefix, for which type of prefix you want to set distance value. So tell me, on router number 7, these prefixes, router will receive these prefixes in the form of which LSA? In the form of LSA 3, yes or no? Because ABR, both router are ABR. Router 7 are getting these prefixes, 10 prefixes in the form of LSA 7, LSA 3. So IP OSPF database. So you can see both router are advertising it. Done. So I want to set distance value, distance OSPF. I want to set distance value for inter area prefixes, inter area, and then AD value. So I will set AD value what? 255, and after that here, what is the exact command? Let's say external, and before internal and external, here I have option of distance source or not, AD value distance 255, and then it is asking for source IP address. So source IP address, whenever router 7 will receive prefixes from 4.4.4.4, because when router 4 will advertise their LSA, it will share these network information in the form of LSA. In the form of LSA 1, advertising router ID will be what? 4.4.4.4. So this is the source. So I am going to say when source will be 4.4.4, and this time I am going to define wildcard mask of source 0.0.0, and then this is also different command. Here I think I am not able to see one command. Let me check it. Start the recording and say distance EIGRP 255, for external also 255, and then we don't have any option here. Here also we don't have option to define source, and here if I am using EIGRP, I don't have any option, right, to define source. And let's say distance 255, and then it is asking for source IP address. So let's say source is 26.1.1.6. now let me put question mark wildcard mask 0.0.0, and then again we have option of access control list. Let me do one thing. Okay, let me do one thing. I will start from this concept tomorrow, because now we don't have time as well, and here we have little more concept. Okay, we need to understand like how we can filter prefixes with the help of source IP address. Till now we had discussed only the filter all the prefixes, right? Doesn't matter from where prefixes are coming. but sometime you need to filter prefixes on the basis of source IP address. Like as I told you that router 7 should receive these 10 prefixes via router number 5 only, not via router number 4. So here I have to define the source IP address. Okay, so this concept I will start tomorrow. Okay, I will check before that what is the exact command. Okay, and I will show you. I will check the command is, you know, here I can run this command or not. If I cannot run this command in EVE-NG, then tomorrow I will come with the access of real devices. I will show you the configuration of those feature on real devices directly. Okay, so for today I think this is enough. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Otherwise we will continue from tomorrow. Nirav, do you have remember the command? What is command to define source? Nirav is in traveling, so he is also not available. Rohit, do you have idea about
No,
this command?
no, sir, I don't have idea. मैं कहाँ से?
Fam, Mohan, anyone?
No, sir.
No. Okay, don't worry, I will check and I will let you know tomorrow. If anyone have any confusion, please ask me. Any doubt, anything which is coming in your mind, you can ask now.
So, what is difference between directly connected and locally connected interface in routing table?
Locally means exact IP address of that interface.
Or
See,
directly means it will show the
means
network.
network ID. Yes. On router number 1, if you will run command, have you ever see the output of show IP route command in real device and in simulation software? There is some change, right? So whenever router will install locally, you know, prefixes, it will install with /32
Means IP
and connect.
address.
Yes,
Basically.
means IP address. Anything else?
So, sir, if two router is connected with each other, and
Okay.
what if configure the default route on both the router? So, is
Okay.
there any
There
issue?
is loop.
Is there any?
Yes, loop will occur. Na? If let's say I have two router, here I am going to design it. Now from tomorrow you are asking, you know, basic question. Yes, good. Because in interview you see in that interview you're asking basic question. Okay,
बड़े क्वेश्चन करते रह गए, छोटे पे वो
छूट गया.
छूट नहीं गया, वो छोटे पे ही वो काम करके चला गया, खत्म करके.
R1, R2. If here you will configure one default route 0.0.0 towards router 2 towards R2, and here you will configure one default route 0.0.0 towards R1. Now if router 1 will receive a traffic, let's say where destination is anything, let's say it is receiving a traffic where source IP address is 10.1.1.1 and destination IP is 20.1.1.1. Now router is going to check their routing table. Am I right? Font
Yes.
will not, it will not find any match. Then it will use default route and it will forward traffic toward router number 2. Am I right?
Sir.
If route is available, right, for 20 network, then it is not going to use default route. Yes or no? So
Yes.
let's say router have received unknown traffic, which is not known for router. Okay, then router will use default route and it will forward towards router 2.
Okay.
Now what router 2 will do? Again router 2 will check their routing table. It will find one default route towards router 1. It will forward traffic to router 1. But TTL value will be decremented by 1. So until and unless TTL value will become 0, this packet will be moving between router 1 and router 2.
So at the end of the day, it's going to be like a packet is going to discard. So
Yes.
can we say that it's a loop? Because
Yes, until and unless TTL value will not become 0, it is loop.
what if this 20.1.1 is like a connected with this R2?
Then R2 will forward traffic towards 20 network.
Then there is a no case of like a
Loop.
loop.
Then there is no case of loop. While
Okay.
configuring default route, you should configure it very carefully. Otherwise, loop can form.
then in this scenario, can we configure like one side like default route and other side is static? It will work, I think.
Here I can configure what? A
St-
static route. Which route?
static route.
A static route for which network?
Like a for R1 a network.
In a static routing, you have to define the network ID, na?
Yes, a network also.
So you can
10.1.
configure the particular network, not default route. IP route, and here we have to define the network ID 10.1.1.0 and let's say or 20.1.1.0, 20.1.1.0, and this is okay. You are asking that if I have configured a static route for 20 network via router number
One
1.
side is static route, other side default route. I'm
Okay.
asking
Again,
this.
loop will form here. Again, loop is going to form.
So what if someone
But
asks
you know,
like
this time one thing will happen. When router 1 will forward the traffic to router 2, okay, and router 2 will forward same traffic from router 1. That means router 2 have knowledge that don't know about router 1. Someone is using suboptimal path because I have received the traffic on same interface. From same interface I am forwarding it. So there is one concept of you know ICMP redirect. ICMP redirect.
not idea about much about the ICMP because
Okay, we will discuss it later in this course also. This time what router 2 will do, router 2 will inform to router 1 you are using suboptimal path, but again we have one loop here between router 1 and router 2. Again router 1 will forward traffic to router 2 to router 1, and router 1 to router 2, then router 2 to 1, like this. Packet will be moving between router 1 and router 2.
uh, for example,
Yes,
I like
yes.
a 20.1.1. It will our router 1 is going to send towards the R2 because there
Okay.
is a default route, and
Yes.
then R2 is again going to forward this packet to R1.
Yes, because there is one static route.
So if someone asks what's the difference between the static route and like a or default route, what we can give the answer?
See, this time router is not using default route to forward traffic, router 2. When router will use default route, when router will not found any match in their routing
When
table.
destination, sir, any real world example like can I relate like where I can use right now I'm where I am using?
Default route
Yes, sir.
on edge router.
On edge router, like the router given to me by ISP.
Yes, let's say this is your organizations
Uh,
and your organizations is connected with ISP. So here you will, on this router you will use default route to forward all traffic towards ISP.
ISP. तो जैसे कि मेरे जो घर पे राउट लगा उसमें भी डिफॉल्ट राउट होगा।
Yes, default route होगा
मैंने
100%.
चेक किया था उसमें ऐसा कुछ दिखा तो नहीं रहा था। मैं दिखाऊं आपको क्या शेयर करूं मैं ओपन करके उसका?
हाँ, स्क्रीन शेयर करिए,
एक
या फिर
सेकंड।
वहां पे नहीं शो कर रहा होगा, इनबिल्ड होगा।
वहाँ 239 लिख के आ रहा है, राउटिंग में एक आ रहा था स्टैटिक करके 239 करके आ रहा था कुछ एड्रेस।
सो मी प्लीज शेयर योर स्क्रीन।
एक सेकंड रुक जाइए सर, मैं दिखाता हूँ।
One second, Rohit. Let me check the command again one more time. I think
Hello.
here in this topology, one second, Rohit. Okay. On
Okay,
this
sir.
topology on router number 7, let me try once more time. Router OSPF 1. Oh my god. Config T. Router OSPF 1, and then we need to set distance. distance, then let's say 255, and then I can define source, let's say 4 dot 4 dot 4 dot 4, and then wildcard mask. Yes, this is command. This command is also working. This command. See, I have set AD value 255 for all OSPF prefixes, which is receiving from 4.4.4. Now let me check the routing table. So IP route, and you can see it is receiving these 10 prefixes from both router, from router 4 also, and from router number 5 also with same metric. Let me clear OSPF process ons, clear IP OSPF process, say yes. And again I am going to check routing table. So IP route OSPF. Still it is performing load balancing on router number 7. Still it is performing. So run section router, or directly let's say OSPF. Distance 255. This command is also not working. Okay, I thought that maybe this command will work. Okay, share your screen, no problem. Tomorrow we will see it. Yes, brother, show me your screen. Rohit, are you sharing your screen? Yes.
So see, in a routing, like there is a routing mode, IPv for static routes, IPv6. It will showing destination like, yeah.
This is multicast, brother.
Multicast start from like 240, I think.
2402.
255.
So
No,
this is
no,
not in
sorry.
range. No 255,
No,
but
no,
this
no.
value is in range of multicasting.
Okay. मैं गलत कर रहा हूँ. So where we
Default route is not showing here.
Okay.
Which router, which company router it is?
Geo sir.
Oh yes, Geo. Here.
242 550 is reserved. मैंने गलती से गलत बोल दिया. यहाँ अच्छा शो नहीं करता कि हम देख नहीं सकते अपने राउटर को?
देख सकते हैं, मे बी की राउटर्स पे डिपेंड करता होगा. इसके बारे में तो मुझे भी इतना आइडिया नहीं है.
तो क्या यहाँ पे स्टैटिक ही
default
इस्तेमाल, डिफॉल्ट राउट ही इस्तेमाल हो रहा होगा, है ना? क्योंकि मेरे राउटर को तो इतना पता नहीं होगा, इतनी बड़ी मेमोरी नहीं है कि वो राउट स्टोर करे.
नहीं, डिफॉल्ट राउट ऑलरेडी कॉन्फ़िगर. जब आप परचेज करते हो तो एक आईपी एड्रेस भी रहता है ना राउटर के पीछे. एक आईपी एड्रेस और डिफॉल्ट राउट कॉन्फ़िगरेशन, ये सब कॉन्फ़िगरेशन आता ही है, इनबिल्ट ही रहता है.
ओके.
ऊपर से आप फिर राउट ऐड भी कर सकते हो.
सर जैसे कि अभी मैं कोई क्लास ले रहा था तो वहाँ पे बोला कि जैसे कि जो डिफरेंस होता है क्या, लाइक टीसीपी और यूडीपी हम जल्दी पढ़ते हैं कि लाइक यूडीपी इज फास्टर देन कंपेयर्ड टू द टीसीपी, है ना सर? तो उन्होंने कहा कि ये मिथ है, ऐसा होता नहीं है रियल वर्ल्ड में. तो क्या सही में ऐसा है क्या सही में डिफरेंस?
टीसीपी इज नॉट फास्टर देन यूडीपी.
नहीं, ऐसा लगता है पर ऐसा होता नहीं है. मतलब यूडीपी जो है कहते हैं ना फास्टर है टीसीपी के कंपैरिजन में.
डेफिनेटली होगा ना, फास्टर तो होगा ही वो.
नहीं, पर कह रहे हैं कि जैसे कि बोला कि ये मिथ है, ऐसा होता नहीं है.
अरे ऐसे कैसे नहीं, अगर एक्नॉलेजमेंट नहीं है तो कुछ ना कुछ तो होगा ही ना. बहुत कम होगा डिफरेंस, लेकिन डिफरेंस तो होगा ही ना.
अच्छा सर, एक और
जब वहाँ पे एक्नॉलेजमेंट यूज नहीं हो रहा है, नंबर्स ऑफ मैसेजेस कम है, तो डेफिनेटली वो थोड़ा सा तो फास्ट होगा ही.
और सर जैसे कि एक और क्वेश्चन था, जैसे कि ये अब ये जो अभी चल रहा है ये यूडीपी पे चल रहा है सर?
कौन सा?
ये जो अभी कॉल चल रहे हैं, कॉल पे हैं.
हाँ, वीडियो कॉलिंग यूडीपी पे चल रहा है.
तो क्या इनके बीच में कोई टीसीपी हैंडशेक होता है बीच में कहीं? बीच में क्या एक बार हो जाए कभी, ऐसा होता है क्या?
नहीं, यूडीपी में कभी नहीं होगा टीसीपी 3 वे हैंडशेक. यूडीपी डज नॉट यूज 3 वे हैंडशेक.
मतलब यूडीपी पे चल रहा है तो यूडीपी पे भी चलता रहेगा, ऐसा नहीं है कि बीच में एक बार टीसीपी आ गया और एक बार हैंडशेक कर दिया?
नो, नॉट लाइक दैट.
गलत पढ़ा रहे हैं मुझे आजकल लोग.
आई डोंट थिंक सो कि ऐसा कैसे होगा.
नहीं,
कभी बीच में
देखो मैं आज पढ़ रहा था तो उन्होंने कहा, जैसे इंस्ट्रक्टर थे उन्होंने कहा कि ये मिथ है एक कि यूडीपी जैसे कि जो फास्टर है टीसीपी के, तो वहाँ पे मैं सोच में पड़ गया कि भाई अभी तक तो यही पड़ा है, एकदम से
हाँ।
नई चीज़ आ गई। और दूसरा ये कि उन्होंने कहा कि जैसे कि बीच-बीच में कहीं न कहीं ये टीसीपी भी लेता है, जैसे कि यूडीपी में तो चल ही
तो
रहा
आप पूछे नहीं कैसे हाउ एंड
है।
व्हाई?
हाउ और व्हाई वो तो नहीं
हाँ
बता।
मतलब ये तो कंफ्यूजन है ना, आपको नहीं पता है तो आपको तो पूछना चाहिए ना।
ये भी है।
हाँ वो पूछना चाहिए था,
हाँ,
आप पूछिएगा उनसे ना कि सर व्हाई इट विल सेंड टीसीपी पैकेट एंड हु विल सेंड यूडीपी पैकेट, मिस टीसीपी पैकेट, यूडीपी प्रोटोकॉल और योर कंप्यूटर, एंड व्हाई, व्हाट इज द रीजन, हाउ?
क्योंकि अगर अगर कहीं न कहीं अगर अगर वैसे सोचें, अगर स्किप भी करता है यूडीपी से टीसीपी पे जाता है, तो कहीं न कहीं कुछ लॉस तो होगा ही, लॉस्ट होगा। अगर वैसे
See,
मान लें एक बार के तो।
I am talking about the connection between my computer to your computer, yes or no?
ठीक है, हाँ।
In between our computer, we have ISP as well. There are lots of data between ISP and your computer. We are not talking about that data.
हाँ,
We are talking about the connectivity, the virtual connection between my computer and your computer. This will be UDP based, and I don't think that in between the duration it will send TCP packet.
ओके, ओके, ओके। अच्छा सर, जैसे कि अभी जानना था कि मुझे कोई अपना सिलेबस है जो हम फॉलो कर रहे हैं, जिस तरह के कैसे कर पढ़ते हुए चलेंगे, कोई ऐसा है अभी?
हाँ वो तो मैंने आपको पहले ही भेजा था ना,
नहीं,
डे वन में ही भेजा
नहीं,
होगा।
नहीं आया, यहाँ पे नहीं आया। जहाँ तक कि मुझे याद है कोई ऐसा शेयर नहीं हुआ।
ओके,
हाँ, ऐसा
वो
कोई
तो अपन कोर्स के भी साथ एडवर्टाइज करते रहते हैं ना सिलेबस।
अच्छा, जैसे कि अभी ओएसपीएफ कितना बचा है वैसे अगर देखा जाए तो?
ओएसपीएफ में बस फिल्टरिंग बचा हुआ है,
और इसके बाद हम क्या शुरू करेंगे?
बीजीपी।
बीजीपी। ओके सर, ओके सर। तो क्या मतलब वो फिर बीजीपी के बाद क्या और कोई मतलब कि
फिर
राउट
स्विचिंग मॉड्यूल स्टार्ट करेंगे।
ओके, बस स्विचिंग
3 मॉड्यूल में है अपना सिलेबस। बेसिक मॉड्यूल,
हाँ,
जिसमें हम लोग बेसिक मॉड्यूल में क्या डिस्कस किए,
टीसीपी आईपी
OSI मॉडल, सबनेटिंग, आईपी एड्रेसिंग, राइट, कनेक्शन ऑफ डिवाइसेस, स्विच, राउटर, सब these things। उसके बाद हम लोग सेकेंड मॉड्यूल में डिस्कस किया राउटिंग, एंड थर्ड मॉड्यूल में हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे स्विचिंग। ये मॉड्यूल था अपना।
और सर एमपीएलएस किधर आता है ये?
MPLS यहाँ पे हम लोग डिस्कस नहीं करने वाले हैं।
अच्छा 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 अच्छा, ठीक।
आपको MPLS पढ़ना होगा तो क्लास के बाद मतलब जब सारी कवर हो जाएगी तीनों मॉड्यूल, तो आप फिर बताना,
नहीं,
फिर अपन 5-6 क्लास रख लेंगे उसके लिए।
ठीक 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 है सर, ठीक है सर, ठीक है ठीक है, ठीक है।
ओके, वैसे मैं एक बार सिलेबस शेयर कर दूंगा।
एक बार सिलेबस शेयर कर देना सर, एक बार वो कमांड्स वाली पीडीएफ भी आप भी शेयर कर देना।
कमांड वाली PDF यार एक्चुअली मुझे मिली नहीं कहीं पे।
अच्छा अच्छा, ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं सर, कोई नहीं।
चैट जीपीटी से ले लो ना कमांड, कितना अच्छा तो है, सब बता देता है
सब
तुरंत।
बहुत वो जैसे कि बताना पड़ता है बहुत ज्यादा, जैसे कि एक होता है ना
हाँ,
कि
कमांड देना पड़ता है।
जैसे कि पता नहीं उसे बहुत स्पेसिफाई करके समझाना पड़ेगा, नहीं नहीं मुझे ये चाहिए, ऐसे चाहिए। अगर अब मैं कहूँगा कि मैं अपने दोस्त को व्हाट्सएप पे मैसेज भेजना है, ठीक है, ये कंटेंट है, कैसे भेजूँ, तो वो पूरा सब्जेक्ट लिखने लगेगा। तो उसे बताना पड़ेगा कि नहीं नहीं भाई मैं व्हाट्सएप पे भेज रहा हूँ, मेल पे नहीं भेज रहा। तो काफ़ी स्पेसिफाई करके लिखना पड़ता है, जैसे कि अगर चैट जीपीटी में भी देखा जाए।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
सर एक
ये तो करना पड़ेगा।
सर एक क्लास,
लेकिन आपका जैसे टेक्निकल कंटेंट है ना, तो उसमें ज़्यादा आपको नहीं, जैसे आप कमांड ऐसे सर्च करोगे पर्टिकुलर किसी चीज़ के लिए तो मिल जाएगा।
अच्छा सर, जैसे कि क्या नाम है कि कोई एक क्लास रख लें जहाँ पे अच्छे से मतलब थोड़ा कवर किया जाए टीसीपी आईपी, और थोड़ा रिलेट किया जाए कि जैसे कि मैं रियल वर्ल्ड में जैसे कि इम्प्लीमेंटेशन कहाँ कर रहा हूँ आसपास, अगर कोई पूछ ले तो मैं बता सकूँ। क्योंकि यही एक है, जैसे ओएसआई में तो मैं
उसके लिए आप वो करना, अपना इथरनेट पोर्ट को वायर शार्क में कैप्चर करना, और फिर आप जो मर्जी हो ट्रैफिक जनरेट करना। वाईफाई अडेप्टर कैप्चर ही है, आईएसपी के पास ट्रैफिक जाएगा, देख लेना रियल टाइम में वैसे।
एक क्लास ले लीजिए सर कभी भी, एक टीसीपी आईपी पे। मैं फिर उसके बाद तो मैं उसके बाद एक बार एक ओवर आइडिया लग जाएगा ना मेरे को, तो उसके बाद मैं अपने आप ढूंढ के पढ़ता रहूंगा मैं उसके बेसिस।
ओके ओके ओके, ले लेंगे।
ठीक है सर, ठीक।
ऐसे आपको कोई भी और दूसरा भी टॉपिक चाहिए ना तो आप बता देना, रख लेंगे अपन क्लास
ठीक है सर, ठीक।
जिसमें पर्टिकुलर टीसीपी आईपी के बारे में ही डिस्कस करेंगे।
ओके सर, ओके सर, ओके सर, ठीक है सर, धन्यवाद सर।
एक बार पहले क्लास को लेके चलते हैं, ओके,
ठीक है।
उसके बाद अपन कर लेंगे ये सब।
ठीक।
आपको MPLS भी करना होगा तो देख लेंगे।
हाँ, पहले यही समझ जाए, अभी देखता हूँ मैं।
हाँ।
यही हो जाए, चलिए ठीक है।
ओके ओके, लेकिन आप उनसे पूछना तो उस टीसीपी के बारे में कि जैसे हम लोग जो क्लास ले रहे हैं उसमें कैसे टीसीपी यूज होगा।
हाँ, मैं पूछूँगा कि आपने जैसे कहा था कि कैसे होगा, वही मैं एक
यस
बार
यस।
पूछूँगा। ठीक है सर,
ओके, बाय बाय।
बाय सर।
Bye guys, then let's meet tomorrow. That's all for today. I am sending you video.
Bye, sir. Good night, sir.
हाँ। दादू